Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k RogueTrader. In the last episode we had a second arena fight. We now recruited what's you call it? Marazhai. So we almost lost him because Ulfar and Argento wanted to kill him straight because he's Dark Eldar, he's a filthy Xeno, but we managed to persuade them that he may die later, probably after our story is done. Anyway, we may occasionally chat with Ulfar because...
Let us raise our cups at Vater, in honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come.
Because why not? Let's get to know the big guy better.
This is the name given on Fenris to a pack father, a commander or captain. An Vater answers to a Jarl, the commander of a great company. Since you are the one who commands your crew, and I follow you at present, I am granting you the honored title of Vater.
Yeah, so yeah, Space Wolves are definitely Space Vikings, at least deemed on the Vikings, so yeah.
It is true that I am capable of commanding you and your people, but as a warrior of the Allfather, it is too easy for me to forget the limits of ordinary people. I have had a few thoughts on that score, but don't try to pry them out of me. When the time comes, I will share them with you.
Yeah, I wish I had a castle. Yeah, I guess he didn't have any plan. Probably his plan was to kill everyone.
Why do you think?
Yeah, more difficulty modifiers, because why not? Yeah. That's what on occasion Space Marines do. They sometimes eat their enemies to gain information. Yeah, just to gain information, yeah. That's true.
You are very well informed. Far more than a common mortal ought to be. Yes, it is true that I have gorged on the flesh of my enemies to reap the secrets from the steaming flavor of their meat. I have slain many Xenos and feasted on their flesh. My captors have watched me do it and taken glee in it, while I have been gathering information and planning my escape. Not everyone is granted the right to ask such questions, but you, I shall allow it. What do you want to know about the Astartes from the glorious Fenris? Vilka Fenrica. That is our name in the old tongue of our world. We are the fiercest of the All-Father's warriors, his executioners, his retribution. Our fearless Wolf King is Lehman Russ, son of the All-Father. Our world is Fenris, and our home the Fang, which rises from the world's spine into orbit. We are the thunder in the bloody storm of battle that calls to us. That is who we are. But there is more to our spirit than grim destruction alone. In the Hall of Heroes, we hold feasts the likes of which you will see nowhere else. To thundering laughter, we raise our horns, tell our sagas, and honor our glorious fallen.
Is it me or just I now just realized that he's missing a miniature space hamster?
Though the body of an Astartes is built to be immune to the effects of drink, we invented a way around this taboo. The mead we brew can overcome even our blood. It makes us drunk, and makes our feasts jovial occasions. Mead. You can brew it nowhere else but on good old Fenris. No other world is home to such poisonous plants. Fenris is home. A harsh land of harsh winters and harsh people. When comes the Hellwinter, a fearsome season of frosts, the merciless world sea freezes, and great white bears, snow wyrms, and ice trolls go on the hunt. Then, the murderous frost retreats, and boats of harpooners sail out to ply their craft, capturing sea snakes and krakens. And then comes the season of fire. Volcanoes awaken. Waves wash over whole islands, and only the land of Asaheim offers salvation to those whose blood and grit win them the right to live upon it. Clan fights clan, crows circle over battlefields, and wolf howls rise up to the sky. That is my beloved home. There is no place in the universe like it. Tell me, Edfator, what is the most fearsome foe on Fenris? No, you are... What? Why the Wrath Badger? Very good. I hope to tell you about the black curse of the Wolfen, but your answer wasn't bad either. Wrath Badger. The curse of the Wolfen is the most fearsome and most terrible foe on Fenris. In the heart of every brother, there lives a dark beast, bloody and forever ravenous. He hungers to kill, not for glory or duty, or his battle brothers, but solely for the sake of killing. For he who falls to that dark beast, there is no joy or thrill in slaughter. There is but dull rancor. Our gene seed is unique. Lehman Russ blessed us with the Canis Helix, a genetic gift that heightens our senses, making them sharper than those of brothers from other chapters. The Canis Helix kindles a bloodthirst in our hearts and changes our appearance to resemble the lethal wolves of Fenris. The wolves do not take orders from outsiders. We keep the old ways, not the Codex Astartes. We fight in packs, and we are trained and healed by our wise rune and wolf priests. We do not find honor in adorning ourselves in laurels, but instead etch the full names of our fallen kin as a promise of vengeance, and draw strength from that promise. We believe in the great wolves, in the deadly Blackmane and fierce Drakan the Thunderwolf, in redoubtable Hagar the Mountain Wolf, and in the Bloodied Hunter. In the wolf that stalks between stars, who follows us wherever we may go. And in the uncanny two-headed Mordkai, guard of the realm of the dead. Only the great wolves show us their favor. The others are more malign, but each teaches us a lesson. For that, we praise and honor them. The All-Father is not a god. He is the best of all humans, our perfect forebear. His blood flowed through the veins of Leman Russ, and Russ's blood flows in me. Does that make me a god? My respect for him has no end, and I am ready to die for him. But what place does faith have here? Is the All-Father like the massive Iron Wolf, whose every tuft of fur forms a mountain on the surface of Fenris? Or is he as enormous as the Sun Wolf, which rises to hunt every morning and fills our world with light? The All-Father is not a god, but the highest of humanity. Ordinary humans struggle to grasp this, but we, his warriors and offspring, remember the truth. It makes his deeds all the more glorious. Battling gods is child's play when you yourself are a god. But if you are a man... now, that is the stuff that sagas are made of. Lakan the Ruined Wolf once shared the mysteries of the healing potions and the secrets of magic sagas. He taught them to see the past and future in throne runes, to call down storms, and to carve powerful talismans.
Oh, shame. Oh, why me now? You have Jay, we have Irlet, Marazach.
Ulfar Redmane. That is what my brothers call me. Do you? And there I was, about to round off my story with a short 400-verse saga about the gifts of Lakan the Ruined Wolf. Should what I told you reach other ears, I shall take your tongue. What do you want to know? What brought the Space Wolves to the Expanse? Or how I ended up in the non-human's Dark City? An inquisitor by the name of Kalkazar put out a call for aid. My wolf lord did not refuse him, and had 2 packs deployed to the Expanse. We never trusted this ally, but a blood debt for a service rendered in the past forced our hand. Insightful. We'd had no dealings with this Kalkazar before this, and we did not trust him. To 2 packs meant twice as many eyes to watch out for his games and schemes. And then... the Koronus Expanse is a wild hunting ground teeming with prey. And the space wolves will be the first to turn its snow scarlet. The Jarl decided to send the most indomitable hunters who hunger for honor and bloodshed. 1 pack would have fulfilled its duty for the sake of pride, but 2 would seek to outdo each other for the sake of glory.
So... is he telling me that I shouldn't trust that Inquisitor?
He saved our brother who had lost the pack and was unable to look after himself or the chapter's honor. Calcazar returned our brother to Fenris and kept secret the misfortune that had befallen him. The Jarl knew that the Inquisitor's actions were driven by opportunism, and the desire to have us mighty warriors in his debt. But honor forced him to be hospitable to the stranger, and swear an oath of friendship. The Inquisition. Pah! Rats! Scurrying around the Allfather's house and ruling it in the Master's absence. Cowards they are. The last into battle, but the first on any war council. We saw what they were worth in the months of shame. We also decided to be cautious. His words flowed like honey, and he seemed an honorable man. But lies always look like truth, don't they? That arrogant chief thought he could give us orders. But we wolves have always followed our own instincts and hunted in our own way. I wager that boiled his blood. In warm furs, the old man does shroud his body. In cloaks of secrets woven, shrouds the sly man his plans. To know his dire purpose, swallow not the words of poison, but his gristle. We had gone on a raid for Xenos prisoners and fell into a trap. We had no war machines to support us, and some of our squad were wounded, so we were forced to retreat. I ordered my battle brothers to leave, but I remained behind to meet our guests. I do not know how many of the feeble wretches I slew, but I would have killed even more had their towering piles of bodies not hindered me in combat. They wounded me and captured me. They froze the joints in my armor. When they dragged me to their ship, 2 of my battle brothers descended up the Xenos and tried to free me. An insane plan, but it almost succeeded. Almost. And so there were 3 of us taken captive. And then there were 2. And then I was alone once again. They fell with honor. Their saga is one I will not sing to you. You have spilled no blood with them, nor shared with them meat and mead. Their spirits might be outraged if they knew I had sung of their deeds to a stranger. Yes, so am I. These are dark days you are asking about, Edvater. Let my keen-edged friend be a witness to the ferocity of my words. I was given to Tarvantius for his amusement in the arenas of Camorra. Astartes are a rarity, and he sent me out there to kill gladiators. Living as an inglorious butcher and a Xenos' puppet, I hated it constantly, every moment. I had to take care of my mind before it was twisted to the seven hells. Every morning I made entreaties to the All-Father, and every night I appealed to Ross. I trained my body, read the litanies, and in the darkest moments I recited my own saga. I recalled every battle, every wound, every brother. And that is how I survived. I always survive. This was a bleak saga, Edvater. Instinct bids me to remain silent. Such knowledge is not to be shared with just anyone. Only those who possess my complete trust.
Alright, so maybe later.
Fenris.
Okay, let's talk. Yeah. Oh, you. Let's learn something about you.
You want to know how and to what end I orchestrated all of this? Ask your questions. When Irimeris ordered us to lay waste to the monkey settlements, Tazara and I encountered resistance. I have hunted your kin too long not to notice how well you in particular were fending off our attacks. The rout in Tazara's arena, the appearance at the plundered vessel. Your kind are usually powerless against us, but not on that occasion. I began to suspect that you could not have managed it without outside help. Help from our side. I began sending out spies and assassins. My eyes and ears infiltrated your vessel, your cities, and they discovered a trail that led back to one of your worlds. A trail that ended with a burned monkey, the source of the information about where and when my cabal was going to strike. A little trickery to draw you away from the planet. And I had your little informant in my grasp. How the information was reaching his agents, the burned monkey himself did not even know. But based on the units involved and other details, it was clear. No monkey in real space could have gathered such specifics about raid complements and objectives. No, it was inconceivable. The information was being fed to you by my own kind, and I knew who. Irimeris Aziriesh, Archon of the Reaving Tempest, my former mistress. A cowardly bitch who punishes anyone who threatens her grip on power. I knew that to win a war against her, I would need the support of the Reaving Tempest's patron, the Cabal of the Black Heart. So I allied with Nazrake, who presided over the trial. I promised him that Irimeris would be humiliated. I promised him evidence. A lowly monkey that would disgrace Irimeris in the eyes of the Archons. For that performance, I needed you. Of course. If I'm not mistaken, you met the infiltrator yourself. A Cabalite who left a lava from Tavantius in one of the Monkey. Or did you never work out the reason for the treachery during the raid on your ship so long ago now? Then there is no need for me to mention the sleeper agents hidden on your worlds. Overthrowing an Archon is far from easy, even one who has already tarnished her reputation. Every member of a Cabal has their supporters, and Irimaris is no exception. Nazrake promised me a sham trial in the Obsidian Court with a predetermined outcome. Irimaris should have been convicted and dethroned. I was supposed to take her place and turn the Reaving Tempest into a loyal vassal of the Black Heart. Nazrake was supposed to be the axe that fell on her neck, but it fell on mine instead. It was devious and worthy of praise, but why? A secret pact with Irimaris, or is there another reason? I will tear the answer from his throat along with his final breath. It must be said that Nazrake did not have to try very hard to turn the court against me. Not after the stunt you pulled before the assembled Archons. Who? I have no idea what you saw in your stupor. The homunculus's creature does not elicit specific images. It muddles your mind, forcing it to paint suitable pictures evoking confusion or fear. Neither Tavantius nor I care about fussy monkey rituals. The lava must have created a suitable environment for you. One in which you would be more willing to answer my questions in the Obsidian Court. What do any of my kind do in real space? We were reaping. Kamara was clamoring for meat. The Dark City had suffered losses in the latest disjunction. We needed sources of sweet pain to prime its minds and bodies. When the Archon bade my Cabal collect the harvest from the region, I did not suspect that it would turn into this game between you and me. Conspiring? No. There was no plot between us. She merely rushed to my bait. At first, I planned to use the one you trusted, the burned monkey with whom we had spent long hours awaiting your arrival. But my cousin was so swift. Afterward, she tracked down the monkey, killed him, and took the device that he had been using to contact me. She told me what she had seen in your chambers. A piece of her home, destroyed, twisted beyond recognition, reduced to a trophy on a wall. Yes, that was the breaking point for her. The final drop in a deep well of doubt, dispelling her naive trust of Monkey once and for all. And then she came seeking answers from her dark cousin. I did not ask her to hand you over to me. No, doing that would have made my poor cousin doubt herself even more than she was already. I simply told her where to seek out the traces of her craft world and the answers to her questions. A favor for a kinswoman, nothing more. And then I made ready for your arrival. For the only way she would reach that place was with you. When a monkey is left alone with me and my art of pain, I plunge them into a deep well of suffering from which they will do anything to escape. Your kind have fragile souls. Your convictions and principles are a delusion that lends a mirage of meaning to your lives. Achilles and I had plenty of time alone together before your arrival. When he went out to meet you, he was already mine. I bought his loyalty with a promise to never touch his body or his mind ever again. I know it exists. I know that my cabal found it, helpless and stationary, unable to protect its sons and daughters. I know that Iliad's kin began showing up as prisoners in the Reaving Tempest's spire, where they were fonts of exquisite, delightful pain. I spent too much time beyond the limits of our home to learn more than that. But that was enough to tempt Iliad with false hope.
Why do you say that? I promised to reunite her with her kin. A long-awaited reunion in a torture chamber. I find that very touching. They would have had so much to discuss. But there would have been time for fun as well. We cousins get together so rarely, after all.
Is there anything else? Mandrakes. A foul breed that lurks in the bowels of Camorra. Their ability to find paths through the shadows was put to good use. I promised them forbidden trophies from the Reaving Tempest's coffers once I am Archon. Let them come for what they're owed. They will regret it. Did you not hear me when I answered you the first time? I do not like to repeat myself. Then what else do you need? The continuation of my existence. When I lost my standing, I became fair game for anyone tempted by the prospect of slaying a disgraced Cabalite, for vengeance or just for the pleasure of the kill. In Camorra, a lone Drukhari is a target. My talents may be prodigious, but I held no illusions about my chances. You cannot hope to understand the intricacies of Camorra and how it is structured. We are all each other's allies and worst enemies here. Towers of strength and duplicitous traitors both. The cults have always been half a step below the cabals in the hierarchy, and the witches relished the chance to abuse someone who once looked down on them. If our conversation is finished, I had no intention of ending my days playing the role of meat in the arena. And then you blithely offered me an alliance after what I'd done to you. Why? I intrigue you. An interesting turn of phrase. You are not afraid of me, but intrigued by me. Well, perhaps I will deign to satisfy your curiosity, if you submit to me. Then stop saying things you do not mean. It is dangerous for your kind. The Dark City is the bastion of the Drukhari, the most magnificent of all our strongholds. The cabals, witch cults, and the incubi inhabit the place, with swarms of scourges flying overhead and a myriad of misfits and horrors, including the covens of the homunculi wallowing underfoot. Which do you want to know about? The Cabals are the foundation upon which rests the power of the one who rules Camorra, as Drubile Vect. Whether it is a mob of berserkers or an organized cartel, their essence is the same. An army of killers, ready to ravage entire worlds at the behest of their leaders, or to rip out the throats of a neighboring cabal in a war declared by the Archons. What more do you need to know that you have not already beheld with your own eyes? They are the mistresses of the arenas, and they're the gladiators who feed the audience in their ravenous agony with exquisite spectacles. Cults often travel to real space on the Cabal's raids, to revel in the pain and to capture fresh meat for their arenas. The aloof incubi. They dedicate their lives to the art of killing, so much so that they do not plot or chase after delicious torment. All their hatred and longing for suffering are channeled toward perfecting their skill. Winged Drukhari, who have chosen to go through an agonizing process to become such a monstrosity. They escort raiding ships and inflict the first strike on the enemy. In Camorra, these creatures huddled in flocks so that they do not fall victim to the more formidable of their kin. Artists of the flesh who prefer to hide away in their laboratories and create nightmares from the materials their servants supply. Engines of pain, grotesques, racks, all are the fruits of their subtle craft. On a mountain of bodies, bathing in our enemies' tears and blood. Do not deceive yourself by thinking we will escape this place alive without violence. I, for one, hope that there will be plenty of it. But there is one unfortunate detail. An Arabenian has stepped into your path, one of Kegarak's tribe, who lurk in the tangle of the webway. I've heard them called harlequins in your tongue. The one that appeared in the Obsidian Court is the most dangerous and unpredictable of all. I'm beginning to think that his visit is a sign that the events unfolding around us have not been left to chance. Perhaps they are the result of interference, at the behest of the highest authority. They have not, to my deepest regret. Perhaps it is I who should try to show some initiative now. Do not keep me waiting too long. My weapon is tired of languishing in its sheath.
That was a long one, also. Let's continue, because I don't think we'll move anywhere.
I have made no attempt to do so. What need do I have to know of the depravity of the enemies of humanity, when all I want is to burn it all in pure, raging flame? I already know all I need to. This place is evil, but there are servants of the Emperor here worthy of salvation. We do, and I swear to fight for that end, and not to lose hope, even when deceit, corruption, and treachery surround us on all sides. May Terra's light be with you, RogueTrader.
Alright, you got nothing to say, Pascal?
May these instructions protect the machine spirits that serve me from the blasphemies of corrupted technology. Reverse analysis is showing the act of sabotage to have been predictable. The directives for interacting with Xena races warn about non-humans' proclivity for breaching contracts. The data concerning the unreliability of the unit Iliad has been archived. Comprehension in progress. The operating principles of xeno-augmetics, while alien to the canon blessed by the Deus Mechanicus, are nonetheless quantifiable. They feed, as parasites do, on my blood and the charge of my potentia coil. I, in turn, feed on their mystery as I nurse new comprehension within me. It is painful. It is necessary. This statement is partly true. I have introduced protective equations into the algorithmic chain to guard the digital spirit against the corruption of heresy. The xeno-augmetics embedded in my flesh are yet to be comprehended. The lack of knowledge is painful. But by the Omnissiah's grace, my analysis will conquer their mysteries. Martyrdom is the path to knowledge. Strategic recommendation. Analysis has shown that the non-human community is racked by strife. Exploiting the Xenos' mutual differences can result in temporary alliances that will provide the technological means of returning the unit von Valancius to real space. This place is calling out to the Omnissiah for an act of purifying and gracious xenocide. The spatial disharmony observed here points to its anathematic nature. That being said, complete extermination is not advised. Those in possession of technological knowledge should be rounded up and subjected to interrogation and vivisection prior to disposal. May the filters of knowledge bestowed upon us by the machine god protect us from the temptations and horrors of blasphemous revelations. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Okay, Jay.
Let's see. Your lordship, RogueTrader, Shireen, bane of my existence and savior of my flesh. Cruel fate has driven us straight into the foulest corner of the galaxy. Home sweet home to the Drukhari scum. I have it on good authority that no one leaves this place. Not alive, not dead, not even in pieces. So what do you want to hear, Shireen? A children's tale about a beautiful princess? A ballad about a queen of thieves? How about a new story, Shireen? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock, and the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16, and then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie, but the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities. But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Kasbalika. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time, until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Munitorum. So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the Expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen. The folks on Footfall are my only family, Shireen. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain-talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade. Corporal Haydari reporting for duty, sir. I've had enough of the Astra Militarum shit to last a lifetime, Shireen. And my body's collected enough souvenirs from run-ins with Xenos and heretics to last 2 lifetimes. Except, when it comes to the Guard, there's no such thing as used to be. That wretched life sank its claws into me good. But that also means I remember what it's like to be a small, shaking, insignificant pawn. And that's why I appreciate what I have now all the more. What? You think it's difficult? Once me and my fellow guardsmen snuck into the upper city in search of a good watering hole, where the high and mighty of that world congregated. Another time, our regiment was sent to defend the tallest spires on a hive world. And I had an epiphany. I saw how the other half lives. And by half, I mean the ones born with a diamond spoon in their mouth, instead of an entrenching shovel rammed up their arse. My eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. The Imperium is full of opportunities, even for people like myself. The trick is knowing whose palms to grease, whose boots to lick, whose throat to squeeze, and whose arses to kick. I was very popular with everyone in the guard command, you see. I'd procure things for them, whatever they wanted. And so the Kasbalika took notice. It was orcs. Not everything I say is a lie, Shireen. You know, Shireen, I could still be bouncing around from one world to another, holed up on tired old ships with only venal grunts for company, if I hadn't decided I wanted more for my life. I accepted a shipment from the Kasbalika of certain chemicals. You know, for carnal pleasures and the like. Some bigwig was throwing a party to celebrate his 5th decade in the service. And that's when I caught the attention of the newly arrived commissar. I was rummaging through the pockets of Astra Militarum with one hand and shoveling the Kasbalikan cargo with the other. You can imagine what would have happened to my head had the commissar not started with my higher-ranked patrons. Whoop the fu- Never mind.
And She vanished. Hopefully not forever. Or maybe forever. No. Huh. Maybe she's outside. Let's talk to Irlet.
You came back from the dark, Elentark? Unharmed.
My body has already healed. The wounds of the soul will heal one day too. For suffering is a part of our life, not unlike love and fear and the desire to learn. The paths help the children of Asuryan to endure any spiritual upheaval. And you, Elentark, did not allow me to stray from mine. For this, I am grateful. And yet, neither rest nor healing salves, or even our reconciliation, can soothe the savage turmoil in my soul, Elentark. Kruderak is lost, and the bud of truth never opened before me. What happened to my kinsman? What happened to my world? And why did the Dark Cousin tell me less than he knew? I was meant to share your fate, Elentark, and vanish in the Dark City's rotting underbelly. But the Fleshmaster gave a different order. His twisted mind was beset by a question. Could a child of Asuryan be saved from the gaze of she who thirsts with intense re-education? By replacing the influence of my spirit stone with the heady tang of pain that nourishes the followers of the dark ways? I donned the executioner's mantle. They allowed me to keep my spirit stone in exchange for the suffering of others. I survived, prayed for Asuryan's mercy, and hoped to escape before the stone cracked under the torrent of pain and terror assaulting my soul. Before the experiment was complete. You are asking why? How could I have trusted a monkey, Elentark? After Muaran told me that it was your kind that had attacked Kruderak, after I glimpsed a piece of Kruderak in your chambers, I saw that monkey hearts were full of hatred for me and my kin, and I saw how indifferent you were to the troubles of my kind. What else was I to do? Of the two sorrows, I chose the one that was closer to my blood. Which is why I tried to find my dark cousin on the day he attacked Argonis. I used the commotion to slip away unnoticed and wandered the streets like a shadow in search of its owner. My efforts were futile. I returned to the palace in confusion. I waited for my fresh wounds to stop aching and for the watchfulness of the surrounding monkey to fade like the mist on an autumn morning. But still, I had my doubts. Perhaps, I thought, I should discuss it openly with you. That monkey Achilles. There was something wrong about him. He kept disappearing at night, so one day I followed him. Achilles was contacting Marajai, using an artifact that transmitted his master's orders. That is how I learned that the burnt monkey was about to betray you. Which meant my only chance to discover the fate of my homeworld was about to slip through my fingers. I could not wait any longer. I killed Achilles, took the artifact, and demanded answers from Marajai. He hinted at where I could go to look for the truth. You know what happened next. My words will hardly console you, Elantark, but I killed the traitor. I fear the Dark Ones left too many scars on his fragile soul. Your loyal monkey broke, so I gifted him a swift death, free from the shame of betrayal. Alas, my cousin fell out of favor with the Archon. But even so, I doubt Marajai would reveal the truth. At least not before his dark soul was suffused with my suffering. Komorra. This city grinds down the will of the strong and torments any who get tangled in its dark web. The fools are the first to die, and the shrewd perish regardless. I have never been here before, but few children of Osirion manage to escape the Dark City without surrendering a part of their soul. So what is it that you wish to know? An ancient and powerful Drukhari named Asdrubael Vecht, the supreme overlord of the Cabal of the Black Heart, who reigns over all of the Drukhari with an iron fist. My dark kin consider him to be a living god. Much like your emperor on the Golden Throne, Vecht sits upon a throne of darkness and suffering that keeps Komorra's disparate clans from disintegrating. I would not want to meet him if I were you, Elantark. There are no other cities, Elantark. The Dark City has no bounds. It is a tangle of countless nightmare domains subject to a single ruler. An endless amalgamation of ever-changing and immutable dimensions. You cannot grasp its tenebrous grandeur, for even my life will not be long enough to visit all corners of the Dark City and the realms that border it. But it hardly matters where you go, for death lurks on every corner. The Dark City is pierced by millions of spires, and a webway gate may be hidden in any of them. It is the only way out of this place, and an impassable obstacle to any who do not know how to operate it. I know, and will help you should you so desire. But do I have the answers that you seek? Elantark, I promised that I would no longer hide my worries behind an icy wall of pride and doubt. And so I want to explain myself. But are you willing to hear me out? Not here. The words of my truth are intended only for your ears, Elantark.
I think we've talked with everyone. Let's at least move out and find Jay. And probably talk to that guy in Opera. Yeah, she's nowhere here. So she probably just moved somewhere. You know, that will be a lot of... I'll be ashamed to lose her. Oh, here she is, I think. Alright, let's leave here, let back. Let's quickly find that guy, talk to him,
A new challenge for me?
and finish today. Well, not much was done, but a lot was discussed.
It's about time. Follow my lead.
First you show me 100%, now you show me 40%. Oh my god, what cheating is this? Okay. Alright. So yeah, we'll be back in the next episode. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.